So the conversation I want to start with is, what do Chinese men want? That's the main.
Rewind. Ladies, could you please welcome to the Bay Pod. We're your hosts, Mei-Tun family. Thank you so much for coming aboard. Please introduce yourself, starting from our right to your right.
Hey, I'm Sasha. Thank you very much for having me today.
Pleasure.
I'm Joanna. Thank you for having me on the Bay Pod.
Yes,
Hi, I'm Jai.
Jai.
You can call me Angel as well.
Hello everyone, I'm Jane.
Hi, Joe.
That's it.
That's in short.
That's
Very cool. All right, guys. So for our first topic, we would love to compare and contrast sort of the traditional concept of what a Chinese woman should be in the eyes of the previous generation versus how Chinese women are trying to be in the current situation, as the two cultures are contrasting between the massive changes that happen in China, especially in the last 10 to 15 years. It's very obvious that there's a generational gap between what your grandparents or the grandparents of the women in this country feel and what the present parents and what the present Gen Z generation feels they should or could be doing. And we were wondering what it's like to be in this country and how you balance those two different expectations.
I could do first.
Yeah.
So I think back to the old China and those like the society demand women to be a good wife, good mother. So need to be responsibility for all the family and they couldn't have any passion, like everything for their life. All their life is just for the family, for the elders, children.
Would you say this is your mom's generation?
I think so, yeah.
older?
Yeah, I think my mom generation.
Okay.
Yeah, and they couldn't go to school. Just, you know, what they were doing, just do the society told them to do.
I see.
So they couldn't receive any messages from all around the world because they didn't have the tools to connect it with the world. So they believed it in the thing they were doing.
I see.
Yeah, so they were thinking just being a wife, a mother, was the right thing. Yes, the right thing to do.
I see.
Otherwise, that was against the rules, against to the society.
Has your mom shared any stories with you?
A little bit though. My mom was different.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Thank you, Sasha.
Cheers.
Um,
Anyone else? None. All right. Let's go into.
Jiayi, our Gen Zer,
Yeah. I'm Jane here. From my perspective, I do think that the women in the previous centuries are belong to men. They are belongings. So
I'll see. Okay.
yeah. But the very previous. Yes.
So your great grandparents kind of.
Yeah, great
Okay.
grandparents,
Okay.
but with the feminism rising in the world from, I reckon that is from the last 60s.
60s? Okay.
Yeah, last 60s, which is 1960s, and there is a raise of self-awareness in women, and this boom generally come to China like 1990s, and from in this 13 years, I think there are more girls or more women are willing to fight for themselves and gain more job positions.
Independence.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
But to my personal experience, I don't think commonly says that situation, but there are some special cases, like if you were born with many money, you are born with in a family with rich parents,
Mhm.
and you have no choice to do what you like, even when you're born in last centuries.
I see. Okay. Interesting. Let's make it more specific to Dayton. How do you think Dayton is now as a Chinese woman?
Sorry,
What's your personal experience of Dayton?
dating?
Yeah.
Dating.
Like
Yes.
relationship,
That's
boyfriend.
so
Right.
deep.
Yes. Let's go back to it.
Yeah.
What is it you're looking for in a man?
In a man?
Yeah.
in a man.
What
As a Gen Z, I'm turning 22, so in my situation, yeah,
She's really hammering home this age thing, like. So the granddad's here.
This was great. So that was a really strong background on how the times have changed.
Yeah.
So now
So let's make it more about.
Femi's looking
That's
more-
not on the topic though.
So this is how it's evolved, and so now, how do you think dating, as times have changed, so how the culture has changed now, how
Okay.
has dating
Yeah,
shifted
understood.
from?
So we know they didn't really have a choice back then. So what is it like now?
Yeah.
Previously, Chinese women don't have much choice. I think is A and B is a thing.
Yeah,
they just met and they get married by
Yeah.
by order of their parents.
I see. Okay.
And today we indeed have more choice. We can know boys in clubs and everywhere, nearly everywhere, internet. But dating relationship, I don't date a lot actually.
Don't date a lot. That's fine. But think about maybe what qualities that you like in a man. So if you wanted a boy, if you want a boyfriend now, for example.
Responsibility, resilience.
Resilience.
Yeah, resilience.
Wow. Okay. It's like an employment application. Love it.
Usually is when you go on a date with a woman.
And,
All right. Okay.
Probably same values.
Same values.
So we can talk smoothly
Okay. No arguments, basically.
without
Okay.
gaps.
All right. Cool.
Likely there will be some disagreements, but at least we're on the same page.
Yeah.
That's most people, though. That's most people.
I have a follow-up question
Please.
to that. What do Chinese guys in your generation,
Yeah.
what kind of different expectations do they have compared to
I don't know.
like
actually.
older generation men? Only speak Chinese. Do you think there's a difference between like younger generation Gen Z Chinese guys versus millennial Chinese guys? Because I think a lot of like millennial and older Chinese guys still have very traditional
Yeah.
values, and it's like I'm looking for a wife, and you control the money, you have the sons, you have take care of my mom
Yeah.
as well.
As well.
Mhm.
Yeah. So do you think there was a shift?
There's a little shift that more Gen Z or more young Chinese guys tend to search for stability in women.
Really?
Yeah.
The younger ones?
Yeah, the younger
Right.
ones.
Okay.
They don't pretend to be like more strong. They try to rely on women.
Ah,
Yeah.
mama's boys.
Yeah, mama's
Oh, okay.
It's
I see.
everywhere. It's everywhere.
I see.
What's the old expression for that's like young, white, and rich? What's the
Young, white, and rich.
Chinese?
白富美.
白富美.
Yeah,
That's for girls.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
gross.
yeah. So, do you feel that the Gen Z boys are looking for a 白富美?
For sure.
Oh,
or hey fu mei.
what's a 黑富美?
Darker skin.
Hey, oh,
That's the middle one, is it?
we got the 黑富美over
Oh,
here.
yeah.
Alright,
Okay.
alright.
I
Little
see.
dark chocolate and for the dessert.
That's a name I'm going to coin now. I'll call it a food name.
Mr. 黑
Thank you
富
very
美.
much. I like that.
Hey yo.
Okay. So let's go more specific. Sorry. So I'm talking about what do you actually want in a guy? So you mentioned resilience. You mentioned responsibility. But I just feel that the older generation, especially, they probably had, how do I put it? They had stronger values, if you like, compared to people this age. Is that the camera?
Strong values.
Uh,
For example.
For example, they probably preferred a woman who was able to cook, who was able to do this, do that, be at home. Maybe a new generation, they just want, how do I put it, someone they can just chill with. Those values aren't as important.
But not for marriage. For marriage, they are also tend to find a woman who can cook, who can look after their children.
And what is your feeling on that aspect? Do you want to be a wife and a mother,
I'm
who's
okay
at
with
home,
that.
or would you want to be, how do I say?
I know.
Boss. Right? That's the word.
Actually,
equality.
I'm okay with
Right, you know what I mean?
responsibility.
Independence on man.
Uh-huh.
I'm
Okay.
okay with the possibilities. So if there is a one,
With both.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I'm not that extreme. I want to be a boss or I want to be a housewife. No,
Wow.
just randomly swift.
You're only 22. In the next 10 years,
We'll have that conversation
your,
again.
your brain is
Yeah.
gonna
So it's like-
switch. Yeah, some
Right.
days you want to be a boss fish, and some days you're like, I want to do nothing, and I just want to be supported.
What about you, Sash?
I can do the balance. I can
Yeah.
do cooking, and clean the house, but meanwhile, I still want my career.
Yeah.
I'm never sacrifice myself in.
So you know what a man's going to say, hey, you're going to sit in the house. That's it.
No,
No, that's not gonna happen.
No.
Right, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
And Jane,
Yeah, what?
welcome.
What's going on?
what is your, if Mitch said to you, I want you to be in the house and I want you to look after the kids and not do anything else, don't work, how would you feel about that?
No, I also wanted like that thing I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't really want to just be the housewife,
Housewife. Yeah.
but it's
Okay.
hard looking for sometimes to things to do for women.
I would say that's probably pretty similar back home in the West anyway. Most girls, especially my age, they just want to have the balance, if you like. They don't necessarily want to just stay at home. I know my parents, my mom, almost generation, it's a case of you get married, you have kids, and that is your job. That's what you do.
Yeah.
And then the man goes outside, gets the money, gets the pay, and then comes back in.
Yes.
That was it.
In terms of being like, let's say we wanted to be a career woman, I feel there's a tremendous bias in China against women, especially as they approach their late 20s. They're going to get married, settle down, and have children, and they're uncomfortable even employing them because they feel that they will just disappear. How do you feel that impacts your ability to find work or continue working or be promoted in China?
First of all, I think if any employer even thought that, I wouldn't want to work there in the first place, because obviously their standards and values are on a completely different planet than what I would want to go for. So, yeah, not even a second thought.
What did you find
that.
out?
In and
Find
out of
out
the interview.
later on.
Find out later on.
No,
Yeah.
they make it
No
clear in
point.
the interview. They're pretty direct, so you're in and out of the interview.
Or is it just like that before?
Yeah, because they don't want women to like just get. I mean, it's never happened to me because I guess because I'm a foreigner, but I have like Chinese girlfriends who get a lot of like overly personal questions during interviews or in the office, being like,
Yeah.
"So do you have a boyfriend? Are you married? Like, do you plan to have kids? Like,
Yeah.
if you plan to have kids, like, when's that going to be?" Or stuff like that. Yeah, and I think it's none of their business.
Yeah, that's really crazy to think about it, because when I first heard the stories, I was like, that's just impossible. It doesn't happen. But apparently it's a real thing. When an employer will go to you and ask you, when do you plan on having kids? So they can decide whether or not to keep you.
I mean, in America, they kind of think that too. They just don't say it out loud.
Really?
Yeah, because I mean, maternity leave is still kind of only just starting to improve as well, like in the US, because a lot of employers also, they don't want to risk having women get pregnant and then like having to go on maternity leave, because then they have to pay them for that. It is
Yeah.
law, so
Yeah.
they would rather avoid that. I've had a boss in China who has said before, like, James can go on this trip. He's single. Like, he doesn't have any obligations. He's like, he'll be here for a while. Like, we don't
Okay.
want to get people who, are in relationships, because then they can't dedicate their entire, like, being to this job.
Gosh. And have you heard about any pushback from that sort of idea? As many girls come out and said, that's disgusting. No. Just willing to accept it.
Because what happens if you push back? What happens if you argue with that mentality with a
To
Chinese?
lose the job,
No
maybe?
one
Fired.
knows.
No
For sure.
Definitely
Yeah,
fired.
yeah, of course.
It's a rule.
They have lots of
It's
employees
underground
out
rules.
there
Right.
to choose. You're just one of them.
No one is willing to speak up, but it's the reality.
But
Wow.
if you really stand out, they might be think of you and sacrifice something for you. But I don't think so.
So you have to have some real solid talent. You have to be like quite exceptional.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. So do you feel that that women are preparing to work together to fight back against that, or do women have to accept this reality for a long time further
In China, except I think it's a long time.
Also, I think we are in the capital of this country, and I think 80% of this country still has the same traditional values. So it's like the rest of the country is still on the same wavelength of like get married, have kids, have sons, have like, you know, grow the family, and that's what you do.
Yeah, and then lots of people, they think if you pass that age, you can't find any good man anymore.
Or there's
yeah,
something wrong with
in
you.
general.
Like it's like if you're 30, the woman,
Right.
you're less value.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
They have that
society.
in mind.
Literally,
Yeah.
you should
Especially
marry
our-
before 30.
Our parents, they think the past generation, they really think that.
Yeah.
So also bring the pressure for the young woman.
So you have to, between the age of 18 to 29, you kind of have to get your life completely sorted. Otherwise, you're kind of like,
Yeah, you're left over.
left over
It's in general though.
in general.
Yeah.
What if you're a man?
Man, you're fine.
That's a good question. I was just curious as to like how much more pressure is put on a young woman to have that organized by 30 versus the male.
I think it depends on which country you're living in. If you were living in the big...
Here.
Oh, sorry. The
Specifically
city.
China.
Yeah. In Beijing or Shanghai, you're fine. If you were 35, still single, but you're with good career, you're fine. But if you were in, I don't know, some small city and you were 30, yeah, and you're still like single, like for example, you're 30, single, no kids, not seeing anyone, you're fucked. So,
Yeah,
It's just-
Love it.
society tell you you're fucked.
yeah, the society, but also
So
your
what options
parents
do you
told
have?
you you're fucked.
Yeah. And if
Yeah.
you start to believe it, don't.
It's not. Oh, I'm not gonna say that. So
Just don't believe it.
So what options do you have when you get to that point? What
Single
can you
fire.
do?
No, it's not.
Become a crazy cat lady, yeah?
Oh,
Finding good company is important.
It's true, right?
no, it's not.
No?
No.
So JD had a good point, right?
What were you saying?
Finding good company.
Yeah, find good company. The company with more foreigners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They respect.
Yeah,
the
they
fact
have
that-
a strict proportion for women's like director, women managing director. They have a
I see. So you would advise
yeah.
younger girls who are coming out of university looking for work to go to work with a foreign company
Yeah.
rather than a Chinese company.
If your values are not in line
Yeah.
with traditional
That's what
values.
I'm
So if in your
Yeah,
mind you're
like
like,
a
I don't want to have it together
I
by
see.
30,
Yeah.
I should go and find a circle,
Yeah.
find a company, find a group of people who are in line with my ideology, which does exist, particularly in a city like Beijing, like Shanghai.
But how
I can
difficult
escape
must
this
that
issue.
be though?
Yeah,
Because
it's
we are in
true.
China and majority of the
It's
companies
not
are
that
Chinese, right?
It's not that difficult, but it's difficult.
Yeah.
First of all, you need to have a fluent oral speak English and written English,
Yeah.
and you have a good resume for you to enter there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's hard for like poor families.
So this is out of
Which is
reach
back to
of
what
most
Sasha
Chinese
said, the
girls,
idea of
isn't it?
affluence,
Right.
Yeah.
It's pretty far.
I don't know.
Because let's think about how much of the population has been to Europe or America, wherever it is, and have English speaking skills. I don't think it's that big.
Your family would have to have the money to support
Yeah, to
lessons
support.
or study abroad
Correct.
or
And
Right.
support a girl, not a boy.
Right.
That's an interesting point. So
Yeah.
at a more impoverished family, they're more inclined to pool their resources into the boy
Yeah.
instead of the girl.
If their resources limited.
Really?
Oh, China.
So if we're brother and sister, for example, you're my younger sister,
Mhm.
they'll put more money to me.
It's
than
a no doubt for
The boy
you.
is
I think
supposed
no.
to support
Not
us.
surprising
Seriously?
for me.
Yeah.
Seriously different.
Okay. You mean this is mainly for like
We
the
come from
lower
families where
class?
it's equal spread of
Yeah.
resource that you would
Yeah.
never dream
Even the middle
of.
class.
Sorry, you're
Yeah.
not the boy. We
Sorry,
have to push.
Oh no, it's different. It's different. I think it's different from different province.
Mhm.
Province.
I see.
So I born in Dongbei province, Jin
Yeah,
province. So I think my province, they don't care if you're a girl or a boy. They just cherish you. They just put all the things to you. So I'm the lucky one, and even like literally during my grow ups, I want anything, I get it. It's like the Ariana Grande song, I want it, I get it.
Okay.
So I can't say it's the whole China.
Why was your preference different though?
I have no idea.
Because they've got the best snowboarding.
I see. You make a very good point earlier on though. I was saying like I don't think it's a lot of how to put it. I don't think it's a lot of people who have that view. I feel like they don't have that view. Why? Because if you're going to choose one sibling over the other, that means you have little resources. So that's why I think it might be the lower class of China that are choosing to sponsor a son rather than daughter on education.
It was opposite for my parent. I mean, my mom.
Alright.
She got well, she was more government sponsored, I guess. It was during like the cultural. Am I allowed to mention that?
Not
Yes.
sensitive stuff, please.
But am I allowed to even say cultural revolution?
I don't.
Civil War of
Yeah,
1949.
I'm gonna cut that bit out.
Go Liberation Army. That's all you have to say. Go Liberation Army.
Okay, let me rephrase that. During the 60s.
You mentioned the victory of the Liberation
Oh my
Army.
god.
Check it.
During
it
the
all out.
70s. So like you were either sent to support the country, right, and do physical labor, or if you had the opportunity provided by the government, then you could go do whatever opportunity that was. So for my mom, she was lucky because she tested out of like her small town and then ended up at the
tested out.
yeah. So you had to like, how do you say, like call who's you, like you have to like get
be
the
outstanding.
yeah, you have to literally like make it out. They choose and pick like maybe 2 people max from each village or town or city
I see.
to allow them for this opportunity. So she was
Wow.
one of 2
Great
people.
proportion.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That was allowed to pursue music. So she went
Interesting.
to
Wow.
the Central Conservatory of Music in Beijing,
Okay.
and then she managed to like get in, go to boarding school and then education and then like pursue music. While my uncle, her brother, just like stayed back and so he's still here. But then my mom eventually ended up in America.
I see. Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. Okay. I've never heard of that system before.
I mean, that was during like the 60s and 70s, and I think it was rare.
So you
these
have
opportunities.
the criteria for choosing those people was just random or
Excellence.
Example.
education.
Yeah. Depending on what
family.
it was. Because I think, I mean, I'm not too clear about like Chinese history during that time, but I think there was like certain exceptions made for certain industry. Like, so for her, it was like government sponsored. Like, we want these people to pursue like traditional Chinese music. Go master like the
Okay.
and that's what she did.
Oh, I see.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the motive from the government saying this is what we want the countries to look like.
Right. We do
Trying
want
to
to
achieve
invest
this.
in some
Yes.
of this, and we
And
want
then-
the best people to
Right,
do that.
right. Okay, I
But
see.
the rest of you go in the fields.
I see. Okay. And then your dad, they met in America, correct?
My mom and dad met in America.
Right.
Yeah.
I see. Okay. So, from your point of view, what do you feel like what are the qualities of your dad that you see?
Okay, so
If that's not too personal.
no. So
What was your mom looking for essentially?
my parents are divorced,
Right.
and so my mom was a single mom like my whole life,
Right.
and then so she supported me and my sister, like financially by herself, like our entire lives, and then my dad went back to China when I was a kid. So he's from Shanghai. He's still there now, but he's a U.S. citizen. So I'm not really sure what he's doing with his visa. But like so she supported us. So she's always like pushed it to me to be like, you need to always be financially independent. Like you cannot rely on anybody else. So you need to like always have your own money so that if in case anything happens, like you don't have to dig yourself out of this ditch.
I see.
Which is what she had to do. So like I said, she's actually a musician. But then my dad left, so then she had to basically think about like, how can I support myself as an immigrant in this foreign country? And I have 2 kids by myself, and we have this like house that a mortgage left over that he just like fucked off. So Yeah, so then she had to go and learn computer programming
Damn.
and completely switched her
Wow.
like entire yeah, and then went to night school and then learned programming, and now she's like a data analyst and a programmer. So that's
Jesus
how she.
Christ, that's impressive.
Yeah, so
Seriously.
for like in my family, like for her, it's not a priority for her for me to find like a husband
Mhm.
or like be a wife or whatever.
What are you
She's
drinking, my
for
dear?
her
Looking
mostly
for
it's like
independence.
yeah. She's like, you need to like be able to find a career where you can support yourself and like, you know, rely on yourself no matter what. So she's never pushed me to get married or have kids.
That's really, really good, I think.
Yeah.
I think, for my culture anyway, my parents are quite religious and very, how do I put it? I grew up without TV for a very long time. That's how religious they were. And when it comes to marriage and girls, I wasn't supposed to even talk to girls. When I was really that bad. Until I was like 17, 18. And then I could speak to girls again for the first time. No, shit. Really. But back to the question. So let's go with money. How important is money for you in dating?
Well, they can't be broke.
You can't be broke. Yeah.
I don't want no broke bitches.
Yeah.
What
But
if he's 6 feet tall, 6-pack abs,
Good looking
Yeah.
guy.
extremely
He lives
charming,
in a bubble like this. And
really good at sports? Which actually, let's segue to that real quick. How important is athletic ability to the attraction of Chinese men in China? Is
the physical part.
not physical ability, but like actual athletic ability. Does that play a role, or is it strictly academic prowess and financial backing from the family? How much of a role does the ability for a young man to play American football or soccer, British football, or tennis?
You can answer that
golf.
personally. Whatever you choose.
How
Hockey?
rugby? So how does that play a role with current women, and how did that play a role with, say, your mothers or your grandparents potentially, and how has that changed?
AKA,
What?
the guy's broke, is good looking.
No, I segued.
Guys-
Yeah,
Good
he's
looking.
different.
It's different.
Simply
Yeah,
in the
yeah, yeah.
question.
I gotta break form. So I'm
So which one do you choose?
I'm well aware that
Pick and choose.
athletics meant absolutely nothing 15 years ago.
Right.
And I'm trying to pretend like I don't know that. So I'm interested in hearing you guys tell me about how that's changed a lot in the last 10 to 15 years. Because I know 15 years ago, if a guy was good at basketball, a girl might not care unless he was getting good grades in school and might get access to a better education. She didn't care that he was good at throwing 3-pointers. But in America, that was big. It's like, oh, he's not good at grades, but he's
It's probably
amazing.
because that girl also sucked at sports.
So you guys tell me, right? So how have the emphasis on athletics changed in the last 10 to 15 years?
I don't really think they can answer that. More the fact that it's a very big question. But for you personally speaking, you've got two guys. One's good looking, one's broke. The other guy, pretty rich, but he looks like a dog. Which one of them are you choosing?
So you have to choose one.
Correct.
Are we just dating or is it like marriage?
Let's do both of them. So dates and marriage.
Is it one date or is it a string of dates?
Sugar dates, yeah, sugar dates.
I would
Okay.
choose the better looking one,
Really?
but broke. Yeah, because it's gonna end at some point. It's temporary. Like I'm not marrying the guy. So. Yeah, so if it's gonna end, then I'm gonna choose the good looking one
Okay.
because I can probably buy us dinner 3 times.
I see. Okay, but so if you're gonna go for marriage,
No, can't be broke.
you can compromise looking at a dog for the rest of your life.
No, but the thing is, it's like the money. It's not about them having money so that they can spend it on me. It's like you need to have money so that you can support yourself. Like
Right.
I'm not looking for a son.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So
okay.
it's not for like, oh, you have so much money. Like, how much are you going to spend on me? It's like that's not it. It's like I want to know that you are able to like actually support yourself. And
So
don't
you can
rely on me.
balance the ugliness with some
Oh,
holiday
sure.
trips to Dubai or something.
It goes
you know what I
both
mean?
ways.
Right. Okay.
That's
Okay.
cute.
How about you?
More
Yeah.
like if you can support yourself, then I don't have to take care of you. And if you can support yourself, you can also contribute to supporting a family. And this is a
Yeah.
long-term situation.
Well,
So
also it shows that both of you are in it half and half. So it's like I can do some, you
we
can
can
do
work
some.
together.
Right, and then if you get it this time, I'll get it next time. But like at least we know we're both balanced in like what we can give into
Yeah,
the.
but I push back on that. You still need to see them in the morning.
I know,
You're like,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I do.
And if you wake up and it's like, what the fuck am I doing in my life? What is that? That is gonna bug my life. I can't do that.
So my cousin.
Right.
I get it. Yes.
Jesus,
Correct.
I'm taking the girl every day. The looks is important.
OMG.
Seriously.
You need Jesus.
I do.
Just
I do. What's your answer?
The good-looking one. Sorry.
What about marriage?
Depends, because
That's so many
everything
factors.
is not too extremely.
Let's be real, guys. Come
Okay,
on.
real
Let's be
guys.
real.
Okay,
Come on.
so he's good looking, right?
Right.
So what he is like good at it?
He's broke.
He's broke.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like what else? What
No, no,
else?
I-
Like
I
don't-
he could be
Yeah,
a good cook.
Do both treat you equally as well?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
right.
Yes.
Oh, the good looking one.
Then
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Right, and let's expand on that. Is the broke guy coachable? Is he learning? Right? Does he have the ability to grow, or is he just going to be stuck stagnant where he is forever? Because maybe this person has money. That's great. This person's good looking. They treat me well. They make me laugh, and they have the potential for growth.
Right.
Say good looking one.
But what if
Yeah.
the ugly
Yeah.
guy?
Yeah.
The ugly guy treats me well, has a good sense of humor. Has
I was
really
gonna throw out the all things being equal,
But
but
he
then it
has
was really
money.
coming at the
Well, he
extreme.
has money.
Yeah.
to change his face.
Oh.
Well, you want to be real, though, don't you? You don't want to be fake,
Magic.
right? So,
Right.
Well, if we both
Yeah.
don't plan on having kids, the genetics
Disney
don't-
wouldn't make billions of dollars if reality was important.
It's not acceptable, no.
Oh,
No,
goddamn.
The
Okay.
good looking one for me, yes. Yeah.
let's be honest. It's quite important. Let's be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
the first thing that you notice in a person, right?
Yes.
And especially if you're looking at something long term, you have to have that initial, "Wow, that's good."
But I think it's only
Right.
fair to have that demand if you are putting equal effort into yourself.
So you're talking about looks.
Yes.
Some people, it really doesn't matter how much.
Sometimes there's
It's like trying to fucking paint a crack in the wall and that's going to fix it. Nah, it's not a massive crack there. Do you know what I mean? It's quite a key thing as a human being. It really is, because if you're gonna do this forever, you have to have that initial, what's the cliche?
Yeah.
Spark, right?
Attraction.
Yeah.
Attraction. It has to be there. Has to be there. But that's probably something that a lot of people tend to ignore and say, "No, I'm gonna be nice. I really want someone who's genuine." But let's get to the bottom of it. The reality is, he has to be good looking first, or you have to find him good looking.
he has to be good looking first, but then if he turns out to be a horrible person, those looks fade. He's no longer good
That's
looking.
And what if he's
Same thing about
physically
girls.
not the most attractive, but his traits are amazing? Does he become?
Then he might become better looking.
See, there's the flip. There's the flip. What do you guys look for in attraction in a partner?
Me?
I need
Yes.
Let's go right.
Well,
to that.
I actually know your ex-boyfriend, so.
So not that.
No.
So what are we looking for in attraction?
Physically.
Nose. Oh my god.
The full package. The full package. You've met this person. They've got 5 minutes to impress you. What are you looking for?
I think fuck.
So good at fucking. All right.
No.
Well, that's very
Something
important.
No, I think the height,
Okay, right. Very good.
muscular
Okay.
face. I'm fucking
The face is very important if you're dating someone. That's necessary.
Yes, yeah. I mean the first impression, right? So the height, the whatever you call it. So and then after personality and stuff. Yeah, if you meet someone in the bar or something, you gotta talk to him, right?
Mm.
And then after maybe like 3 conversations or something, you already know him
Yeah.
and you know he's not for me.
Yeah.
Because
Have you ever dated
And
somebody
then
shorter?
loyalty.
Yeah, I did.
Why did you date somebody shorter than you? Height is important.
Because I don't have a type.
You don't have any
Oh.
type.
I
I
don't
see.
have a type.
So,
What
so
is-
how do you know it's the guy if you don't have a type?
Yeah.
It's the feeling. It's the feeling.
Yeah, the feeling. Yeah.
So we say like Chinese girls like a more feminine man compared to like a rugged,
yeah.
bearded.
Yeah. It's all about the feeling. Yeah. Yeah, it's all about the feeling. Like if you feel this guy's right, if it comes to you, you could just say something and drink with him, and
Yeah, but you always wait the guy come to you, right?
of course.
Yeah.
But I would give just signal.
Signal. What's the signal? The eyes.
Yeah.
What's the eye? It's like.
Yeah. No. That's
Femi, you don't know this, the bat signal?
You know what it is? Guys are really crap at picking up signals. If you're doing that, I'm just like, are you okay? What's wrong? Do you need help?
no.
This
That's
is why he's single, ladies. This is why he's single. He doesn't know the bat signal.
I don't. I personally don't.
He
pick up
doesn't talk to a
signals
girl
as well.
until he was 18.
Yes, exactly, exactly.
He sees the
Oh,
signal
no.
and he's like, oh, she's
Can you
looking for
imagine that
the
first
bathroom, I
conversation?
guess.
It's like,
Oh,
I see, I
oh my
see.
god, what?
seriously, it's bad. It's bad. I think.
I don't know. It's just when you're in a bar and you're by the counter and you're buying drinks and you saw someone who's really cute and you just give him the eye like,
I see.
hey,
Hey.
yeah.
You,
And of course,
okay?
if it's Femi, you gotta have the hair flip and the nails.
No, I need a sign. I need like a good sign
He's a
saying,
neon
I
sign.
want you.
I'm curious.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's just like, huh?
Literally for girls, especially when you're hot, you just need to give the eyes a look, an eye. Just look at him and then back, and talk to your friends and do whatever what you were doing.
Real quick, Sasha, because we have to ask some other people. Do you find then that the men that you end up dating are fairly aggressive and confident and have a really go-get-it energy?
No.
Aggressive?
You
No.
don't find that.
Well, I didn't date too much, but I think.
I apologize for implying
No,
that you
no, no.
dated too much, but just
I mean,
the
like
odd
dating,
time.
but what you described. We could have one dinner, we could have fun, but I don't think that's boyfriend material because for girls is the first impression is very important. Like if you feel this man is right, he's right. If you feel like uncomfortable, no.
So
Never worked out.
just to follow up on that because we skipped that question earlier on. So when I say feminine man, like I mean like the K-pop sort of look.
K-pop.
Yeah, is that a thing like the Chinese girls like in China, or
Some have not.
they prefer
Some of
some?
some.
Okay. How we talking about your friends here?
Yeah,
or-
my friends.
So this could be a generational thing.
I don't think so. Some female who were born 90s, they also find.
They also find it okay. I see. Okay, that's an interesting view. But it'd be quite nice to see what it was like a few years before K-pop. What was the actual interest before K-pop? I think it was probably.
They even don't think about the question.
It's not even a thing. It wasn't even a thing. Yeah.
It's, oh, there's a guy, and my mother told me to marry him. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
Jesus. God
Really?
almighty.
Real quick, Sasha, what is getting on is your method attracts A-type personalities who are highly gregarious and typically aggressive. And so if you're finding that your signal method isn't attracting the kinds of men that you're genuinely interested in when you finally have a dinner, it might be because you're signaling to the most aggressive 1% of men and you're missing out on those much more shy, maybe I need to know a little bit more about her before I approach her type of gentleman, and maybe it's your pickup method. And then maybe that's why you keep running into these guys you're not genuinely interested in. That's a possibility.
To be honest, I tried one, maybe twice. The results never came too well. I don't know why they always came too nervous, or they were, I don't know, they just didn't know what they were doing.
This is a foreigner or Chinese man?
One Chinese, one I don't know.
I see.
Yeah.
All
yeah.
of them. Oh, that's
I know,
Let's-
right? Yeah, because I had the same dog as you,
Uh-huh.
so I was like, okay, I always chasing this type of man, so maybe this like cute, understanding, sweet man came to me, say, okay, let's go for a dinner or something, let's get to know each other, and then when we got to the restaurant, and then they always feel like very clumsy, very, I don't know. I tried. I tried it. You
She
know
said yes. She said yes. Oh my gosh. What do I do now?
I was literally like, okay. I was leading the whole conversation. I was like, okay, tell me about
Brilliant.
family, your goal, or your life, or whatever. They were like, huh,
Make it through this
Panic.
date.
Yeah, they were like, aliens, Star Wars,
Star
women
Wars.
could have penis right now. I was like,
Oh,
what
God,
the
okay.
fuck?
He was almost my friend until that.
So yeah, that's it. I was like, like my cat needs me. Why?
All right, let's switch before we round off to online dating.
Yeah.
What is your experience of online dating in China?
Online dating.
So let's talk about
Tinder, Tan.
Tinder,
Oh,
Tantan,
Bumble.
never used.
Bumble.
Yeah.
What are your experiences?
I
Good,
know
bad,
them.
0.
Okay, I can
Nothing.
do it. Guys, you should put your height on your profile.
Yeah, but they lie.
Uh-huh.
What?
What?
Chinese guy like? Really?
Oh, Chinese guys. Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
was thinking
I don't
men
know.
in general.
Men in general.
lie.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I don't know.
Even if it's even the height is on the profile. It's
Right.
probably like.
It's kind of stupid, really, if you think about it, because if you do say yes to a date or ask a girl out for a date, you have to show up. And
Yeah.
If you're lying, you're
But
6'3",
they
but you're
could
actually 5'4".
see you, I
Let's
think.
just say it how it is. Women are very deceptive with their pictures as well. I don't use social
I do
media
not disagree,
anymore
yeah.
because I've arrived at a date and met the person and been like, you are not as described.
Yeah.
And
This is
I
not what
know-
was advertised.
Right.
No, because after 2 or 3 of those in a row, you're like, you know what? Why not just meet people in person?
Yeah.
In real life. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I'll say for me, I obviously recently became single, so I downloaded, what was it? Tantan.
Tantan.
Yes. And
Chinese
as
one.
Yes. And as a black man, there was a few curious matches, but they were a little bit strange in the sense that there's a language barrier, obviously,
Mhm.
but then the conversations were more focused on the fact that I was black, not to do with me as a person. Do you know what I mean?
They just wanted to
They're
know like
curious
about.
about-
I don't get
Curious
it.
about you.
I don't get
Right.
it.
Oh, we know what they're
How
curious
do you
about.
being black in China?
Right. That's going to be the next episode, being black in China. But yeah, it's a little bit strange in that sense. So for me, personally speaking, I just don't use all these online apps anymore because it's not for me.
Mhm.
If I'm back home, I never used it. But if you're here in China, it's sort of see what's going on
It's commonly used.
Yeah.
Actually, it's commonly used in Gen Z.
in Gen Z.
Yeah.
That's
I
how.
used it for
Which one?
not Tinder, not Tantan, is other app.
Bumble.
No. It's an app only for college students.
Oh, it's for college students.
Yeah. So the app
Okay.
here are only college students. So
What is it called? Do you know?
called 他说 translate to her says.
Oh, okay.
Her says.
I see.
Is it like so?
No, not.
I know so.
What is so?
So is
It's
just like Tinder and Tantan.
yeah, it's dirty.
It's dirty.
It's yeah.
All right.
I never
It's
used
at
it.
least two now.
No. I
It's
never used
not.
Where's my phone?
it.
It's
Yeah.
naughty. So what's
Okay.
this? What's this app? This college only.
But the one for college student, I think it is quite good. The men I met in person for I think they're good. But only just for friends. I checked. I used the app just for fun actually. Just for
Yeah.
not for that fun. This for I want to know what are the Chinese boys are think about.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah, I
Did
think.
you find out?
Tell us.
No, they are, because they are all college students, so I think they are mostly immature.
Oh.
They
So
can't
you
talk.
prefer an older man?
No.
Well, you just said college students are immature, right?
But I am a college student with deep thoughts. They don't have deep thoughts.
I see.
Yeah,
Well, that's generally speaking, a lot of girls do prefer an older man. Just
Well, that's because
generally speaking.
like a college age guy just is
Yeah.
not on the same mental.
they're on the
level.
surface.
Yes.
They can't go deep into a topic,
Right.
and they are not willing to go deep into a topic. So
Right.
They have different priorities at that age.
yeah.
God almighty, that's the thing. That's the thing. I was speaking to my son when I was 18, trying to get, and I had nothing. There's nothing to me. Absolutely dry. Just like
But they're good person. They're
I see.
good people. They're good people.
I see. Okay.
I don't met that strange people.
They
But when
didn't
there's
make
nothing
it
inside, you can't be
Yeah.
mad.
It was a good
That was
experience.
a complete
Yeah,
void,
it's
just filled with Jesus and.
But my friend says really bad experience.
Seriously, you have no idea. Seriously, you have no
I want to
idea.
dive deeper into that.
Should we take a break and then we'll finish up? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It's fact.
Where are we? So future outlook. So what do you feel like the future of dating might look like for Chinese women? Let's say, God forbid, you're all still single in the next 10, 15 years or whatever.
God.
What do you think that market might look like?
Lots of
More the same?
Tan. Lots of Tan.
I agree.
Really? You think it's going to be basically online dating pretty much?
Because face-to-face communication become harder and harder.
Is it?
Wasn't there some article about how like it's hard for Chinese people to socialize?
What article is that?
There was some article that was talking about like younger generation Chinese people find it hard to socialize, and they're getting much more and more like introverted, and they just want to like kind of stay inside and just like be their own thing. Like they don't want to go out and like meet people.
You know, the more we talk about these topics, the more I'm just like, it's exactly the same in the West. It's exactly the same in London.
Yeah, I mean, there's general
Wow.
global trends.
Yeah,
right?
this is not just isolated to China or to the UK. It feels like everyone, due to the fact that we have this device, we live our life through this, and that's becoming more what's the word, cyborg, if you like. Where if you leave this somewhere else, if I live somewhere else, I panic.
I will die. Yeah.
Really, just like you know, it's really, really key. So you think it's going to be mainly online dating?
No.
But let's be honest, because you can't really have online dating and not have the physical conversations, because it never happens. It's not a date in that sense, right? Unless you have a, what's it called, VR, virtual reality.
AI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Metaverse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
metaverse, yes. So you can have relationships online but never actually meet the person. That would be a dystopian heaven or hell? Probably hell.
Oh, hell.
Probably hell. Yeah. There's something about looking at someone in the eye and having a conversation
Yes.
and seeing the social, the body language cues that you pick up on. But you can't do that with an avatar when you dressed up as a minion.
Yeah, but isn't it more?
Thank you for watching, guys. This has been the Babe Pod. It's our first ever podcast. Our next podcast would be with a friend, Azalia, where she talks about her experience in Beijing, China. She's been in Beijing for the past 8 years. Once again, please don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later. Bye.